As the release date of Kingdom Hearts 3 comes closer, there are both hype and concern floating around about the gameplay, and one of the main topics that have been talked a lot to the point where it might become a buzzword is a floaty combat. And I'm not saying it's not a problem per se, but it's definitely an interesting topic to talk about because it affects the gameplay quite a lot, but sometimes not in a bad way. Oh boy, do I have a lot to explain here. So this video gonna be separated into two parts. The first will be me analyzing these 4 main Kingdom Hearts games on how floaty their combats are and other things related to it. And the second part will be me explaining how the floaty combat can actually benefit Kingdom Hearts 3, what the game already did to help that, and what it needs to do to make it better. Before we go into this, because the definition of floaty combat is different from many people I have been asking, I need to pinpoint the meaning that I will be mainly talk about in this video. Okay, so a floaty combat, like the word suggests, is the lack of falling speed and acceleration during an aerial combat. This falling momentum can also be affected by some certain action like attacking, casting spell, using command, jumping, etc. A floaty combat, or the opposite, weighty combat, affect how the game physics work as a whole, and also how player control and feel about the characters. A floaty physics will generally increase the amount of time characters have to stay in the air, while weighty combat will decrease it and make characters land to the ground faster. In order to show the history of how Kingdom Hearts game handled this, we're gonna look at multiple games today, starting with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, which were developed by Tokyo Team and was known for weighty combat, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and Dreamed of Distant, which developed by Osaka Team, who also developed every Kingdom Hearts game aside from 1 and 2, including the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 3. BBS and DDD was a title that the criticism of floaty combat spawned from. And lastly, I'm gonna include 0.2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, at least from what we saw in the trailer and the gameplay up until now, plus my 2 hours time with the demo at PlayStation Experience. Now, if I just make a graph on how floaty these games are overall, it would look something like this. And you might just put the spot you think is the best amount of floatiness and call it a day, but let's look at each game specifically first. Because the floaty combat by themselves doesn't mean much, it's just a one piece of the bigger puzzle. The way the game design around it though is important. So when looking into each game, I will not just talk about the floatiness, I will also consider 2 other factors. How much options Sora or other playable character has for aerial combat, and how much does the game challenge and levels built around that. So without further ado, let's start with the beginning. Kingdom Hearts 1 actually have a very different physics compared to other titles, and it's the only game where the concept of floatiness barely exists, aside from the time where Sora literally floating. Sora in Kingdom Hearts 1 weighs like a Crash Bandicoot packing a log titan behind his back. His jump carry a heavy momentum, and only a few things can actually stop him from falling, like glide or super glide, which was decent for keeping attitude, but not really good as a dodging tool. Attacking in mid-air will give Sora a boost of movement toward enemy for only a split second before the gravity force kicked in really hard. Hitting enemy in mid-air not really require accurate jump, but also can sometimes be on the mercy of Sora's swing animation, and if enemy move during that, there's good chance you're going to miss it, and if you don't have combo master ability, good freaking luck changing your combo. Vanilla version of Kingdom Hearts 1. Though this kind of physics can be used to a benefit of some players. Aerial combo is a lot faster than ground combo, so a hop combo, as I like to call it, can be used against big enemy for quick attack. And casting spell while jumping will also allow you to move more freely as well. These heavy jumps can support Sora ground combat quite nicely, as an aerial combat is quite flawed. It wouldn't be so bad if Kingdom Hearts 1 doesn't have this many aerial fights. Kingdom Hearts 1 combat is best suited against ground opponents. Riku Ansem, Sephiroth, and most of the Colosseum fights are the great example. But outside of those fights, most bots are either airborne or their target is too high that Sora will automatically do an air combo. Not to mention a couple bots where Sora have to fly. This was a big issue because not only does Sora heavy weight make an aerial combat a lot harder, a majority of Sora ability cannot even be used properly in mid-air. Magic is harder to aim, half of Sora limit can be used in mid-air or can't even hit someone in mid-air, and hope to god you're not picking Dream Soul in the beginning, cause those ground combo modifier and combo plus ain't gonna do much late game. Really, out of 10 combo modifier in this game, only one of them actually affect aerial combat. combat, or 2 if I'm being generous. And because of this, your main method of attacking never get a chance to evolve throughout the game. Additionally, the level design also have a lot of verticality due to the game also want to be a platformer, and if people complaining how difficult and clunky Kingdom Hearts 1 platforming is, try that while you're in combat, which sometimes you get punished from falling off the platform. And when this game is so focused on survivability that Q and arrow spell become a necessity, you will rather save MP for that and you have nothing to do aside from physical attack. Kingdom Hearts 1 is pretty much a case of player ability and game challenge doesn't work well together. And if they want to make a better aerial combat, they need to make it easier to execute. Kingdom Hearts 2 is the first game to introduce floaty combat. Many people don't realize this, but in case 2, many of Sora's moveset will make him as floaty as some of the later game. There's a couple things that still affect by gravity during its animation, like aerial combo and regular finisher. Using modifier finisher like aerial finish or magnet spiral will make him float for a bit, and using magic will make him float even longer. This floaty physics helps Sora land his long animation attack easier, while also fix his movement, so you don't even need to jump as precise as Kingdom Hearts 1 for you to land a hit. And though Sora's basic combos still carry momentum, his jumping momentum is not nearly as weighty as before, to the point where his top combo is 10 times easier to execute. The added combo modifier for aerial attack also helps his aerial option alongside multiple drive forms. So Kingdom Hearts 2, they did improve aerial combat to go with added floatiness. It doesn't go that far though, but that's fine. Like Kingdom Hearts 1, most of Sora's abilities still support more for ground combat. Consider how magic combo can only be used on the ground and in the air it has long animation is an evidence of that. They still designed ground combat to be better than aerial combats in mind. But it doesn't stop there. Sora's combo starter against aerial enemy is even better on the ground with aerial sweep and aerial dive. And Sora's aerial mobility move like aerial dodge and glide are not only really hard to use as a dodging tool compared to dodge roll or quick run, you didn't get aerial dodge until half the game with some grinding, and glide is locked behind the secret form. You have to pay for RNG to get one, and you get that in the final world, so it's more for an optional stuff. All of this might sound negative, but Kingdom Hearts 2 challenge and level design works really well for Sora's ability. There are occasional flying boss and those do limit your option considerably, but most of the major boss and even super boss are grounded or only a few feet above the ground. That once Sora finish air combo he can land quick enough to be safe, and the revenge value system, while causing the boss to stagger for too many hits that make player mashing X buttons a lot, is suited for combo oriented game like Kingdom Hearts 2, and the aerial combo can supplement ground combat with launch attack. So yeah, when it comes to mashing floatiness, aerial combat, and the game challenge, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a lot better than Kingdom Hearts 1, and probably clearly the best in the series. Oh boy, here we go. Birth by Sleep is a game that got the most complaint about floaty combat. So how floaty this game is compared to Kingdom Hearts 2? A lot. Like a whole lot. There's two main components to this. The first is that any gravity in the basic combo is almost gone, like it's barely noticeable. And pretty much any arrow action will make character float, so hop combo is not worth doing anymore. This change also culminated with how slower mid-air combo this game is. The second component is falling speed, which is way slower than before, mainly because of low acceleration in gravity. Match that with long cooldown lag in combo finisher, that you got yourself a really long air time. But to couple with that floatiness, BBS add three major gimmicks that sort of improve air combat maybe. The first and the minor one is the auto aerial to ground combo. If you're low enough to the ground during air combo, you will continue combo on the ground. This eliminates the need and the point of a hop combo entirely. Like really, there's not much difference between ground combo and mid-air combo anymore. They are around the same speed. I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because in the early game of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, we always use hop combo because it's way faster. The second one might not sound really special, but it helps aerial combat immensely. Air slide ability. It's pretty much a dodge roll or quick run in the air. and it's the first time Kingdom Hearts introduced a reliable aerial dodging move, compared to Kingdom Hearts 2 aerial dodge, which can only be performed after jump or glide, and glide ability itself, which take a bit of time to go fast unless you use aerial dodge first. And yeah, I know air slide has a really long cooldown lag, I will get to that later. The third one, and probably the best change Osaka team has implemented, guard cancel and dodge cancel. In Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, when you're doing any type of combo or even just attack, you can only chain to other physical attack or magic. You can't cancel it to dodge or guard. You need to wait for cooldown lag to end. Only limit form can perform guard cancel. And because a square button, the dedicated dodge and block button was also used for secondary attack like upper slash and horizontal slash, if it wasn't for a good old reflect, there is no way a player can defend themselves when going offensive. With this change, the combat become more open, with the gap between you going offensive and enemy going offensive become much smaller, where you can be really flexible with your combo. And with the boss that have random revenge value, some certain boss fight can feel like an actual sword fighting with you going back and forth between offense and defense really quickly, unlike in Kingdom Hearts 2 where it just feels like you're trading a long combo between each other. This thing doesn't just improve aerial combat, it improves the whole combat system overall. Combine a basic attack with dodge roll or air slide, and even some command deck ability like quick blitz, sliding dash, basic magic that can be chained in combo, can potentially create even more complex combo movement than even Kingdom Hearts 2. Hell, even a slower dude like Terra can perform a very fast combo with this trick. So the character have been changed to have more airtime and more aerial flexibility. Does character order ability and game challenge follow that? No. Like really no. In fact, it's the opposite. BBS is probably the most grounded game in the entire series. There's barely any boss aside from a few large unversed monsters the character will force to be in the air. Hell, when it comes to common enemy, there's only this stupid bird that's flying. I had to fight these birds for the footage a lot because I can't show you aerial combat otherwise. Major boss and most of secret boss are human-sized ground fight, so the game challenge is still ground oriented. And let's just say that it's a good thing that they don't go too far into aerial oriented yet, cause despite of air slide, cancel and other gimmick, a lot of ability and mechanic is still ground oriented. Every command deck aside from dash, surge and some magic, shot lock, dealing, finisher, command style, all of them will make player drop to the ground instantly. Again, it's a good thing because most boss and enemies on the ground anyway, and due to how slow the character fall and how long cooldown lag is, getting stuck in the air because you'll miss the attack or sometimes the attack just being stupid, it would suck. Thankfully, those only happen a few times because you don't need to be in the air. But like Bird by Sleep, consistency is not this game's strong suit. Like Kingdom Hearts 1, Bird by Sleep has a problem where the player ability and challenge doesn't fit well with the floatiness. Or should I say the opposite. Then we come to Dream Drop Distance, the game that many consider to have the same gameplay as a Bird by Sleep, but in actuality, DDD has improved the combat of Bird by Sleep a lot more than you think, but still with mixed results. I'm just gonna say it first though that DDD is probably the first game that started to break out of ground-oriented combat. In terms of floatiness, a gravity force during attack and command still doesn't exist, but the falling speed is much faster, around Kingdom Hearts 2 actually. And here's where aerial-oriented combats come into play. Unlike any Kingdom Hearts game before, there's almost no restriction in offensive ability in mid-air at all. Now every single command aside from item can be used both on the ground and in mid-air. And unlike magic from Kingdom Hearts 2, there's no penalty or downside. Additionally, air dash have an upgrade that allows double dash and triple dash. It still have long cooldown lag at the final dash, but like Bird by Sleep, you can mitigate that by cancel to attack or command. This thing fixes the problem in Bird by Sleep where air slide in combo make character go too far from the enemy and unable to chain the attack. With this, you can dash back and forth to adjust position more properly. Although I think it would be better for them to just make an air slide shorter, and it's not as good as dodge roll obviously, and it still has some problem, I will mention it later, but still it's a really cool ability that I wish returned in Kingdom Hearts 3. And with the addition of attack has much more range and tracking, Sora and Riku can hit enemy a bit easier, and even more command that can be used in a combo like Blizzard Edge for downward attack, Windmill command for mid-range option, Strike Raid for long-range attack, and also combine it with bigger command as a pseudo finishers. And we got even more variety in combos. So does that mean DDD fixed all the problem from Bird by Sleep? Sadly, it's still not enough. In fact, there's something in DDD that brings it down. Slide Dash and Magic for some reason can no longer be used in a combo, and like BBS, there's still some stiffness and long cooldown lag in the combo. Not only that, the aggressiveness of the enemy and bosses are really high in this game that you need a lot of time dodging. Performing combo in the mob fight is a harder task than ever, and also a flow motion. Most of you might wonder why I haven't mentioned that yet, consider that flow motion was a big part of DDD, and you know, it's a parkour ability, so it should improve aerial mobility, right? Well, for platforming, maybe, but for the combat, no. It's kinda hurt the overall movement, honestly. Flow motion is treated as a different mode entirely. You can't use any other ability aside from flow attack. And flow attack is all a big slow attack that cannot be chained or cancelled to anything. It's also a pretty unrealized mechanic because flow attack is either too overpowered, not very useful, or doesn't even work properly. The enemy design is mostly grounded with the occasional airborne enemy, but the level design is going back to Kingdom Hearts 1 for a bit. A lot more platforming but still have a bigger area to fight. But in some area with a lot of walls, you can accidentally activate flow motion by accident, which will interrupt your flow of combat, pun intended. And most of the boss aside from few human one does require you to be airborne. Way less frustrating compared to Bird by Sleep airborne boss, but the stiffness in the attack animation still make the fight quite janky. So overall, Dreamed of Distance still take a couple steps to improve aerial combat and actually start to design a character and challenge around that, but some components still rub around the edges, which make it not as good as it should be. It's a good effort, but we need more to it. A lot more to it. Okay, so we've been talking about all the 4 main games, and at this point you might be wondering, why does the floaty combat matter that much? I mean, we already have Kingdom Hearts 2, which even I said was the best in the topic of balancing floatiness with character and level design. Why not just use the same amount of momentum in the combo for Kingdom Hearts 3 then? Well, I have many reasons, but to find one word that mostly sums it all up for me, we have to go back to the section where I talk about Kingdom Hearts 1. I briefly mentioned it, but that word is verticality. One of the major things that people like about Kingdom Hearts 1 is that the level design has more dimension than any other game after, which was mostly a flat hallway. But as I said, those verticality clash with the weighty and gravity-based combat. That's why in Kingdom Hearts 2 they have to play safe in level design and opt to make it like, well, most of the action game really. Empty space, rarely any platforming, great for ground-oriented combat. But I think the developer and I guess Nomura himself want to bring that element back. And he doesn't just want the game to be higher, he also wants it to be bigger. Each game comes with a bigger scenario than the next. Even with handheld game limitation, the stuff they try to achieve in DDD is certainly something. This definitely shows in 0.2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, with level halves more detailed than Kingdom Hearts 1 and even bigger than DDD, with flying enemy make a full use of 3D space. Instead of floating few feet above the ground, a giant boss is even bigger, even common enemy require you to be in mid-air constantly, and a massive world space that goes as high as a skyscraper. And this is where a weighty combat of Kingdom Hearts 2 start to face a roadblock in Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 2 combat only works so well in the environment where the third axis is not much of a component. Cage 2 might have a fast and heavy aerial combo, but every single combo needs to be followed by landing at some point, because you get heavily punished by staying in the air. The ground is a necessity. There aren't barely enemy aside from maybe Dragoon Nobody that were flying so high that Sora can't reach them with physical attack, and the few boss that fly really high is not really a good one. Putting that weighty combat in the scenario like this, or this, or this, or this, or this would be the repeat of Kingdom Hearts 1 and hurt the game more than it helped. In those scenarios, the ground is way below enemy if there's even a ground at all. Instead of making Sora fall after every single combo, it's actually better to keep him in the air longer. But if this Sora is like anything in Kingdom Hearts 2, he will almost be helpless and can't do anything, right? You will see that both option doesn't really work, that's why I will go with the third option. My solution, and I guess Osaka team's supposed solution regarding combat being too floaty in Kingdom Hearts 3, which in turn increasing airtime, won't be to reduce a floatiness and make an airtime shorter, but rather make an airtime better, aka make Sora as versatile and powerful in the air as he is on the ground. A combat where landing can become less of a requirement and more just an option. And yeah, Bird by Sleep, Dream Drop Descent, and 0.2 still doesn't fit that ideal combat yet, but it's better to improve what Osaka team already established themselves because for once, their style of combat will actually fit more with the game they want to make. I guess we're usually familiar with action game or even other genre like fighting game to be ground oriented for a long time. But there's still some example of game being less ground oriented or make the focus on both ground and aerial combat in the balanced way, and some of them work really well. So it's not impossible for Kingdom Hearts to do the same. And it's not like moving away from ground oriented combat will completely ruin ground combat or anything. The only thing we will lose is a mid-air combo as a ground option, and that's it I guess. Okay, let's be clear here. When I'm talking about weighty combat of Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm not talking about tight and responsive control with character being quick and has very low cooldown lag. That stuff is fine, hell freaking welcome in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a flaw that Osaka team game have been suffered a lot, but even they start to implement it in 0.2, despite finishers still have long animation. Ideally, I don't mind slow combo and finisher. If you can cancel combo with defensive move like in Bird by Sleep, it creates a situation that makes you think whether to continue the combo or cancel out for safety, but it has to balance with enemy aggressiveness. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you can't cancel the combo, so they opt to make the combo extremely powerful. Unless you go over revenge value or even in a few cases in a mob fight, Sora won't easily get hit because he attacks and moves so fast and can hit multiple targets at once. Without certain combo modifiers, sometimes the game can be unbearable. Anyway, back to the floaty combat. Every game after Kingdom Hearts 2 has been designed the mechanic to be less ground oriented. Sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. And honestly, it's a pretty difficult task for Osaka team. Adjusting the gameplay that used to only have to worry about 2D movement with occasional 3D to a full-on 3D movement require a lot of things to make it worthwhile. Where before, combo attack only need to worry whether enemy is close by or far away, now we need a proper upward and downward attack in mid-air to hit enemy more effectively. That also includes magic and other abilities as well. Movement ability also need to be more varied, especially vertical movement, and more mid-air defensive ability is also needed. These things are all required for better aerial combat. BBS start to implement some of these ideas but never actually committed to it. DDD start to commit it and improve from Bird by Sleep for quite a bit, and here we have 0.2 that take a step further. In 0.2, a floatiness was toned down a tiny bit more from DDD by making Aqua fall earlier after performing action. The combo is a lot tighter with the exception of finisher. You can dodge or block cancel out the attack aside from finisher at any time, unlike BBS or DDD where you can only cancel after a successful hit. Upward attack in mid-air is a lot better than DDD, but now we finally have a proper downward attack with this infamous rolling attack. Magic can be cast while moving, which added more mobility, and now every offensive magic is either homing projectile or instant target AoE, which pretty much obliterate any problem with magic in 3D space. Added to that, there's a bunch of little things that help a lot. Successful block can be cancelled to dodge, air slide, jump, or even double flight, which offer different ways to counter or escape enemy. Shot lock got a slow motion effect, activate way faster, and can be used not just wherever but also whenever, aside from cinematic attack. So you can do some stupid thing like shot locking while Aqua still performing finisher and activate shot lock just a fraction of a second after the finisher hitbox ends. Got this? memorize because it's gonna be really important later. These are quite a lot of improvements, some of which are really good, but once again there's still a way to go. Doing mid-air combat with only 2 jump and 1 dash is still not enough, maybe because they want to make it like the original Aqua from Birth by Sleep, but even that game and DDD, it was already quite a problem that movement ability has to be split between multiple characters, and sadly it's still here. Upward and downward attacks are nice, but combined with previously mentioned lack of aerial movement, make landing a combo not as easy as it should, mostly against flying enemy. Still, the attack animation is not as stupid as it was in Birth by Sleep, so that's a plus. And who the f decided you can only air slide once per combo now? Not even Birth by Sleep did that, and her slide is still too freaking far. What the f? Also, some step animation is still there, but I only mind when taking damage, cause dodge cancel kinda mitigate that problem a little bit. Yeah, you can do that with finisher, but it's a finisher, and you can dodge cancel after finisher like normal attack in Birth by Sleep, and you don't even need to hit anything to do that. But apparently getting launched into a wall stuns you now, and cancel Aqua second chance and once more ability does punish you for getting a wall rush. Also, the amount of enemy and their aggressiveness can also be a problem like in DDD. I mean, I like how complex some of the enemy designs are in 0.2, which some of them need more specific strategy to deal with. Like you can use Berserker to disable Fire Heartless from using his Berserk mode, or use Baraka to destroy the barrier of these Water Heartless which stop their attack and create an opening. But you know, imagine having to fight 6 of them at once with Aqua shorter than her short MP gauge on critical mode? Yeah, not even weightiness can fix this crap. Well, it's something that Kingdom Hearts 3 needs to fix, but not sure if they already did that. Anyway, as a Kingdom Hearts 3 demo, it does show a lot of potential and a very good aerial combat suit for Kingdom Hearts 3 level design. So let's see how all their works go into the real game. Now, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is not out yet, obviously, nobody knows how the game entirely works as of now, unless you're that guy who bought the leaked copy. So we're going to rate this around trailers, gameplay video, and what I can remember from playing Kingdom Hearts 3 demo for 10 rounds. And because this is probably not going to be a final build, this analysis is probably not going to be accurate. Anyway, I'm going to mention what they have already improved and what they need to do more. And I'm going to separate it into multiple topics, okay? Alright, let's break it down. It seems to be mostly the same as 0.2, which is really good, but a little change is when Sora performing combo without having any target. He will gradually fall into the ground at a consistent speed, which I'm not sure if it's really necessary. Oh, speaking of which, in the demo I played and from the looks of gameplay video I saw a bunch of times, Sora has combo master by default, which I think it really should be the same case in the full game. I mean, they kinda do that in 0.2 but only in Spell Weaver form and nowhere else, I don't know why. But combo master ability is like a second chance and once more, in that it's a safety net ability. In case the combo string is still not intuitive enough to land all the hit, the combo can still be continued regardless. If the game make a mistake with combo, it will be less punishing for players. I don't care if they're going to have a combo modifier, I'm fine either way, but I want a good and easy to use gap closer attack in mid-air, as well as better downward and upward attack. 0.2 does have this attack and it does cover some area, but I found it to be too slow and too hard to use. But I feel like in this category they already nailed it in KH3. There's a huge variety of basic aerial combo attack. There's a classic one used for close range, this overhead slash that used really well as a gap closing and downward attack, this upper slash that's also really good for gap closer and maybe upward attack, a horizontal slash on the ground now can be used in mid-air, and even this aerial sweeping attack for enemy that's right above Sora. Also, there's the addition of pre-finisher attack. While in Kingdom Hearts 2, the combo consists of basic attack and finishers, now there's a third type of attack that takes place between those two. The difference between this pre-finisher and the actual finisher is that the overall animation is shorter and you can dodge and block cancel during that. And it seems you can customize both the amount of basic attack and pre-finisher too, from the looks of Frozen gameplay footage at least. And these pre-finisher also come with a lot of variety like basic attack as well. One for single target, one for AoE, one for grab closer, and most of these also apply in aerial combat too. Some of these does apply to key-based transformation too, though I figure that not every key-based transformation gonna have a fluid and intuitive combo. Yeah, for some of these I can't say it for myself yet. But again, even some transformation that is supposed to be ground focused, like hammer for example, can be used a lot easier than I thought in mid-air from what I play. But even for that, we still can switch keyblades, so if anything go wrong, we can go back to regular keyblade. Also, about other certain attack, my main complaint about the flow motion in DDD is that the flow attack lacks utility. It cannot be chained to anything and is slow as hell. Thankfully in case 3, flow attack are a lot faster, can be cancelled to combo, dodge or whatnot, and even some key-based transformation has a unique flow motion attack. One of flow motion attack against close or mid-range enemy that you will be using the most is a double hit attack that launches enemy in the air, which is perfect for shading to combo. Although the movement of flow motion have been nerfed heavily, there's no limit of how many flow motion you can do at once. It's just that the dash range is much shorter, so it seems that flow motion attack is more fit for specific environment. But there is a way to use flow attack at will, and holy god, I've been waiting to talk about this. I have no idea why barely any big Kingdom Hearts YouTuber who played the demo talk about this, because flow chain is a brilliant mechanic that is awesome for floaty combat and 3D movement. It's a secondary command you can do during slow motion shot lock mode, where once you lock onto enough target, once you press a button, Sora will enter flow motion mode and zip through the target at high speed, allow you to use flow attack after. You know what this means? It means you precisely pick a target and close a gap to them immediately. No need to worry about jumping or dashing all the time to catch up with flying enemy. Just enter Bayonetta Wish Time mode and go freaking ham. Use it with double hit flow attack that knock enemy up and stun them, and that's pretty much a free combo. It's super fun to mess around with, but we're not done yet, man. Remember when I said that shot lock mode can be activated during almost any action? You can do the same with flow chain. Like imagine what you can do with that. You can dodge enemy attack and immediately flow chain while still in dodge animation. You can do one combo on the enemy and flow chain to another enemy and do another combo. You can cast projectile magic and flow chain immediately after projectile come out, and you can dash to enemy alongside your fireball. It's like Devil May Cry Devil Bringer mechanic but with much more range. And it's not really OP, you can only use 5 or 6 times before focus gauge run out, and flow attack still has some bit of animation so it's not entirely safe. It's not a massive damaging attack, it's just an ability that's open for other attack. It's something that Kingdom Hearts 3 need and something I don't know I wanted until I got it. Although flow chain help aerial mobility a lot already, at least offensively, but defensively we still need more. Not to mention the focus gauge is really hard to come by in this demo. You can't use flow chain all the time. Like I said in Dream Drop Distance, I really wish triple dash return here. Or if you're going to have only one dash, make it faster and shorter. Make it work exactly like dodge roll on the ground. Even if you can't spam it constantly, it will still be perfect. And maybe something similar but with vertical movement like triple jump or drop down ability. Triple jump is for higher vertical movement and allow air combo and mid-air block to be cancelled more often. And for drop down ability is for going back to the ground. Also you can block in mid-air now like 0.2, so that's great. And even some key-based transformation replace block with short back dash like Castlevania or something. So that's kinda cool, I guess. I don't know what else to say though. Oh yeah, and also don't forget glide ability too. It's basically running in the air, so yeah, that's essential. For the stiffness problems, some of them have already been fixed in 0.2. If Combo Master become default and aerial combo actually work properly, then most of the problem is gone. Now I only worry about when Sora getting hit and the whole wall bounce thing. About that one slow finisher attack, I guess you can take this as a grain of salt, cause this will base a little bit on speculation and it's also depend on player taste. But I'm okay with this finisher cause I feel like this move is a little bit of a bait for a button masher, honestly. Technically, this attack is not bad, it's close the gap to enemy really good, it's even moved vertically, and it's cover a good area around you, but like many people said, it's slow and has a long recovery frame. But because pre-finisher attack already deal a good chunk of damage, and from the looks of it, and this is my speculation, the combo you start with in this game will be what we mostly saw in the demo. 1 basic attack, 2 pre-finisher, and 1 finisher. Okay, so apparently while I editing this video, Square released a new gameplay footage showcasing new DLC Keyblade, and for this footage they have a 3 basic attack and 1 pre-finisher. So yeah, it doesn't really change my point, it's still a good combo to start with, so yeah, back to the video. So compared to other games, you have longer and better combo to begin with, and it looks like it's gonna keep getting longer throughout the game. And as a player who like to dodge cancel a lot, I found this combo to be really good for me, cause I will only use my finisher once I know that I'm safe. Again, this statement is based on speculation and personal stuff, so don't take it too seriously yet. Though I still have problem with finisher that have cinematic camera, cause that thing can go really crazy. For cancelling stuff, I'm fine with what we have right now, but I'm still worried if the cancel doesn't flow well in the combo and whatnot. Again, I think with more aerial mobility it will help that. On the ground it's already fine, dodge roll cancels still work wonderfully since 0.2, but what I worry the most right now is the aggressiveness of the enemy and boss. Dreamed Up Distance is the biggest defender here, and while 0.2 toned it down quite a bit, it still can be a mess when you fight a lot of enemy at once. Not to mention how godlike overreaction time you need to beat Zodiac Aqua. When I played the demo, I already found that problem a little bit during a big robot fight, but that might be because they expect you to use a robot suit and I never use it, I guess. Still, it's hard to tell for now. To sum it all up, a floaty combat was generally a problem in some games like Bird by Sleep and Dreamed Up Distance, but it's for the same reason as to why weighty combat was a problem in Kingdom Hearts 1, which is everything else surrounding it. And despite their different approach, both Tokyo Team and Osaka Team has tried to improve for each new Kingdom Hearts game they made. It might take longer for Osaka Team, but they also have been experimenting with a lot of new mechanics as well. And while those new gimmicks sometimes doesn't work well, it either gets scrapped or getting better in the next installment. As of now, I still think Kingdom Hearts 2 is the best game in the series, but I also still have some soft spot for Bird by Sleep and Dreamed Up Distance too. This game doesn't work mechanically most of the time, but I like it when it's working more than Kingdom Hearts 2 when it's working, if that makes sense. And I'm glad that most of the mechanic they made is returned in Kingdom Hearts 3. And they all got fixed and upgraded to make it really good to use. And those only happen because they keep experimenting for 13 years. I guess it's also the nature of the director Nomura himself. He's a man with a lot of idea and rarely stick with the formula, with each game keep introducing new things and never stop, which is certainly fitting for the game that starts as a Disney crossover with Final Fantasy, though I'm not sure if Final Fantasy is still a part here. He might not be a good game director, but he's definitely a crazy one. And remember that this video only scratched the surface of the game. Despite a lot of stuff I haven't analyzed, this 30-minute long video might only just cover the tips of the iceberg that is Kingdom Hearts 3. There's a whole lot of stuff worth talking about, like balancing, revenge value, enemy design, boss design that I wouldn't even have time to do so. Obviously, there's no telling of how good Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be right now. The game might fix most of the problem I mentioned and might surpass Kingdom Hearts 2 and become the best game in the series, or they can screw it all up and become the worst and most disappointing game in 2019 and cause Square Enix to go bankrupt. Either of these and anything in between can certainly happen. Not everyone is going to like this game obviously, but in the end, I'm still looking forward to it. I want to see how this game turns out in the end and how all the previous games come together. And well, only a few days to go, right? Also, Nomura, can you please let Sora be in Dissidia?